Hello everybody, Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape. It's time for another Make It Monday. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join me tonight. I really do appreciate it. I know Mondays can be busy days for everyone. For me, I got home from work about an hour and a half later than I thought I was going to. Maybe only an hour, but so I get the feel, I understand the feeling of rushing and trying to get everything done. But I do appreciate that you've all taken time to join me tonight, and I hope you had a great week. This past weekend, we actually got over 70 degrees. It was so gorgeous on Saturday, and the kind of day where you can open your window up and, just get fresh air moving through your house. I am still one of those that likes to dry things on my clothesline, and it's kind of funny because I think my former neighbor and I used to compete a little bit. Who gets their clothesline up first? And they don't live behind us anymore and actually are enjoying some time in a much warmer place than where we are right now. So I put my clothesline up and sent her a picture of it. And in response, I got a picture of her lovely setting where she's at right now. But needless to say, I was able to hang up sheets and some clothes and stuff like that. And there's nothing like line-dried sheets for sleeping on. So anyhow, that was kind of my excitement for the weekend. I hope everybody had a great week. I am tonight going to share with you a little bit of here's what's retiring kind of project with here's what's staying kind of project. And I've got 3 completed samples I'm going to share with you and 2 that we're going to make tonight. The first one we're making tonight of this particular layout is going to be a card that's got some product that's retiring, some product that's carrying over into the new catalog. And then my final card that I'm going to share with you tonight is actually featuring some of the new in colors. And so it's just a sneak peek. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but it is going to be just a little, here's what's coming our way. And before we start going, hi Lynn, thanks for joining in. Before we start going too far into the video, one thing I do want to let people know is that we are actually nearing the very end of our catalog year. Hey Kim, thanks for joining in. And in fact, our new catalog, I'm just double checking the date because I tend to get it wrong. Our new catalog will be starting at the beginning of May, which means we only have really a couple weeks left in the current catalog. And that also means that in colors from 2022 to 2024 are retiring. So those would be things like Moody Mauve. Nope, not Moody Mauve. That's the wrong group of colors. Starry Night, Orchid Oasis, Parakeet Party, Tahitian Tide, and the other, Sweet Sorbet. Those colors are going to be retiring. Those things always go very fast once they hit clearance racks and things like that. So make sure if there's anything you want that you go out and check that either through my online store or through a demonstrator. If you've already got one, go through that person's store. And there's dies, stamp sets, paper that's on clearance, some ribbons, all sorts of good stuff. So if you haven't already checked it out, make sure you take a few minutes to do that. And without further ado, I'm going to flip my camera over here and we are going to get started on this fun layout. Now, I've talked about how this catalog has a slightly different layout and style to it from things that we've seen in the past, and I am slowly getting used to it. I think there's some really cool things, and it will really help people put together projects and supplies that they might need. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera adjusted here so that I'm not so crooked. All right, that's good. I'm leaving it. If I start fussing too much, it'll just get worse. All right. And so one of the other things that they've done in this catalog that we really haven't done too much of in the past is spend a lot of time with samples in the catalog. They've always had a few samples, but they sort of have been afterthought. And in this particular catalog, they're really kind of the focus of the catalog. All right, see, I'm still messing with my camera and look what happens. You're on a sea cruise here, I guess. anyhow, it's almost like they've gone a whole different direction. And so there's tons of layouts. And one of the things I'm going to do throughout this catalog year is share some of those layouts with you throughout the year so that you can get measurements and kind of recreate some of what you see in the catalog, whether it's exactly as it's shared in the catalog or as a whole different project. And I've tried again to give you some different layouts and colors so that you can see how this card can really adapt to just about any style. So the first card that I've got, this is made with the zinnia paper that I've used the last couple weeks, along with a stamp that is in that set. And it just says, "You're simply marvelous." And when you open it up, I can't thank you enough. And actually, the stamp set is not from the zinnia stamp set. It is from the Perennial Postage stamp set. And this is actually one of the stamp sets that will be retiring at the end of this catalog year. So, like I said, if it's one that you are interested in, now would be the time to pick that up. There's some great sentiments, and I like how they go together. So again, this is just using Mossy Meadow and that zinnia paper and kind of a Melon Mambo sort of enamel dots that match the paper. I've used Berry Burst as my color of ink, which is really probably more what that color is, but those dots will pick it up. And then another card that I created, because I always like to see, can I do this landscape? And you can. This card features another set of Designer Series paper that is retiring. The zinnia will still be in the online exclusive store, but this particular Designer Series paper is retiring. And this, I'm stalling for time here as I thumb through to get to the name of this paper. I'm so terrible with names, and I just kind of don't even try too hard anymore to pretend like I know them. This is the Ink Botanicals, and I've just done kind of a mono tone card using crushed curry and two of the papers in there. I discovered that the stamp set is actually, it's called Wildflower Path, and it retired last catalog, and I sort of missed it, but that's where that happy birthday sentiment comes from. A little bit of twine, some of the gold pearls. So that's card number 2. And then this is my card number 3, and I see that I've already lost a gemstone on it, so let me quick, oh, and there would be Zena joining us tonight. All right, so you can keep going, Kat. This is that particular card with just a couple rhinestones. I used some of the linen thread and just cut it. I looped it, but then I just cut the loops so that I'd have, I don't know, a spare fishing line or something like that. And this is using the Misty Moonlight. This, of course, is that Gone Fishing Designer Series paper, and it too will be retiring. And then on the inside, I just had this little scrap of paper, so I figured, what the heck, I'm going to throw it in there. So these, again, are 3 quick samples that I made. I'm going to share with you the measurements, and this is my card that's featuring stuff that's going and staying, and one item that's really already retired, but I'm using it because it just seemed to pick up the colors. So here comes Zelda again. Come on, kitty, off the table. Thank you. So this is Starry Sky. It's a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock scored at 4 1/4. This is a retiring in color. I am going to miss this color. I love that tone of blue. Fortunately, we still have Blueberry Bushel, which is sort of similar. But I'm grateful that I still got something I can work with. And then I am using the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper. This actually was in our January to April mini catalog. And this paper and the stamp set that goes with it, just a second here, it is the I'll get it. It's the lavender stamp set, painted lavender stamp set are in the new catalog. So it's not all the time that we'll see a designer series paper carry over, but this one is in that catalog, so you will still be able to get it in the upcoming catalog year, along with the painted lavender stamp set. The postage, perennial postage stamp set, which is this one, will be retiring, but the postage dies will not. And then you also need a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white cardstock. These two pieces of designer paper measure 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. And the second piece is, I gotta remember now, 3 3/8 roughly, 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And then I am also going to be using some of the iridescent pearls. And then this is my fully retired product. It's some twine, but it just went well with my project, so I'm using it. Again, with this project, this is retiring, this is not. So there's some ways that you can pull this together. The assembly of this card is very easy if you can find the pieces that you pre-stamped, and I did pre-stamp the Happy Mother's Day from the Perennial Postage stamp set, and then I used one of the Perennial Postage dies just to die cut that square. So that's what I'm using to decorate this card with. So we're going to fold it along the score line. We will take our bone folder and burnish it so we've got a good crisp edge. And then I am not going to put anything inside because my hope is that I can write a note and have some room to do that. If ever your tape runner is not starting, just run it across the back of your hand. Typically the tape does not stick to it and it will get it going. And then to avoid that happening in the first place, make sure that you are going with a gentle pressure, you know, slow and easy. And that should take care of any problems that you might have. And then these two pieces you can put on any way you want. If you're one who can't go crooked, you could arrange them something like that, or that in the center just hanging out. I actually kind of like the crookedness of it, and so I've altered a little bit on each card how I have them going and how much is showing. So we're going to start with that bigger square piece. The other trick is to make sure you're using the check mark when you're done pulling your tape runner off your cardstock, and that keeps it from gumming up too. So I'm just placing it on here. This is not one that requires this layout a great deal of accuracy or finesse as you're laying things down. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of this card. Or cards, I guess designer series paper is what I should say. And I'm going to make it go crooked like that, and I've got then kind of 4 corners sticking out. And then I've got this Happy Mother's Day, and I'm just going to plop it down here in the corner because I want as much of my designer series paper as possible to stick out. I am using dimensionals to pop it up because I think the card does need a little bit of pop. I've even considered whether or not I should add a base layer behind that so that I can emboss it. But I fought the urge. It's not often that I have just a plain card. That's not my style, but I'm fighting the urge today. All right, so then we're just going to put that on. And then I'm going to grab a mini glue dot from over here. I'm going to try to grab a mini glue dot. And like I said, this twine is actually a retired, I think it may have even been from like a paper pumpkin kit. I tend to keep all those bits and bobbles and use them, and would encourage you to do the same. And, you know, I'm not going to waste something just because it's not in the catalog anymore, but I always like to let you know when I'm doing that. If you really wanted one of these colors in here, you could actually take like a blend pen, a blend Stampin' Blend pen in color, white twine. You could do it with reinkers too, or the markers. I haven't done a whole lot of that because then I have enough problems getting ink all over my fingers. All I was doing was putting labels on some new ink pads today, and look what happened. So I'll just save those little bits and pieces and use them where I can. I did double up my twine so that I had a slightly bigger bow, thicker bow than just a single layer of twine. But that is the first card that I have to share with you. And then the second card, our new in colors this year are so pretty, so springy. I'm just going to share them with you real quick. This is actually a returning color. So if any of you still have Pretty in Pink, that has come back. We've got Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, and then this card that we're doing today features the Summer Splash, and then finally Petunia Pop. And actually the designer series paper that I'm using features these two colors with just a hint of the Peach Pie in there. So that's all I'm going to share with you on new colors right now, because that's really not my focus. And I just realized I forgot to do one thing on this card. You need to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to add, try not to add any dog hair, but whoops, looks like I might anyhow. And we're just going to pop a couple pearls onto our card just to add a little pizzazz. And I'm having really not much luck. All right, so there. Now that card is finished. All right, let's hop over to this card. This color kind of, sort of reminds me of Coastal Cabana, but not quite. And it's not really a Pool Party either, because Pool Party's a little bit lighter. So that would be Coastal Cabana. I think it's the same color family, so it'd be great for layering, but this is definitely a little bit lighter. And then that's what Pool Party looks like against it. It makes Pool Party look kind of gray. So just a really pretty, bright, springy card. Again, the measurements are the same. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We'll go ahead and fold on the score line and burnish. On this one, I did have a little piece of scrap paper from when I was trimming, so I went ahead and added that to the inside layer of my card, because why not? I had it. And we'll go ahead and put that on the inside. And then this paper, everything about it just is saying spring to me. I had a second piece of ribbon. There it is. And let's see, last time I tilted it this way, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll do it a little bit. You know, what if we did, I don't think that one works quite as well that way. We're just going to put it back on. So this is actually just a front and back of the same, it's the two patterns on the same sheet of designer series paper. And you could really make these two layers any size that you want. I cut them the dimensions that I did so they'd fit within that card space I was working with. But certainly you can make it go. If your pattern is very dimensional or directional, and you want to make sure that you can go, you know, either landscape or portrait style, just make sure that you're cutting your paper the right way based on how you're going to put it on your card. And then this is a stamp from the Sweetly Scripted stamp set, which is an online exclusive item. And I used the Summer Splash ink to stamp this, and I think I'm going to put this kind of right in the middle. One of the things I am going to do first, though, is I'm just going to put a piece of adhesive right in the middle, because I've taken 2 chunks of the silver and white, I don't know what they call it here, sheer ribbon. That is going to be in the new catalog as well, but it is a carryover item. And I'm just going to kind of crisscross them so that they stick out underneath this when I layer it. I don't know if I want them quite that X-shaped or just a little bit crossed. So we're going to go like that. And then I am going to pop this up on dimensionals. And I told you, I think last video, how I use up every piece of my dimensionals. Here's a piece to prove that I definitely do that. And right now I don't have any large dimensionals left, so I'm going to, or out, I have to dig them out. So I'm going to put a few of the mini dimensionals in here too, just to give it some support. And with this sheer ribbon, I can also make sure that I'm putting this so that it crosses that center. And it's going to also help the ribbon stay in place in addition to that adhesive, because the ribbon is so sheer that it just stays in place. So we're going to pop this down. This time I'm going to put that sentiment right in the middle of my card. So you can see how it just, you can really vary how you set the card up once you've got the pieces of paper cut. It is a very versatile layout. We've got a little ribbon, and then I want to just come through here with some of my basic rhinestone jewels and pick up some of that silver that I already have on there. And again, we're going to just add 3 little pieces of bling to add a little pop to the card. So there's just one more quick sample of this layout. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Again, I hope everybody has a great week, and we will see you all next week, which is Monday, April 22nd. And if you don't have your taxes done, hurry up and get those things in the mail. Do today. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.